Renda Toshner, a Turkish architect. Renda was born in America in a Turkish home. He was therefore American by birth. He was not a new Muslim, but he did not have any idea of Islam till he joined university. His life story has many lessons for us. Let us first describe the Turkish community living around Detroit in Michigan to understand the ups and downs of Renda's life. Turks started migrating to America around 1950s. Now their third generation is thriving in America. They hold very high professional jobs and successful businesses. Most of them live in a rich suburban area of Detroit. They are financially well established and socially well connected with government officials. I was introduced to them as I conducted funeral services for some of them as Imam of Masjid Tawheed in Farmington Hills, Michigan. I had closer interaction with them when I was invited to visit their homes and their Turkish social club. I found out that as Muslims they had melted into American society. This trend is not unique with Turkish community. Many Muslim immigrants have come to America from different lands and have melted into American society, thereby losing their Islamic identity. On the other hand, we observe that many Muslim immigrants are better practicing Muslims in America than in their homelands. Their children even outshine their parents in the practice of Islam due to religious freedom in America. Renda's parents were prominent members of this American Turkish community. They were both physicians and did very well financially. Thus Renda was born in an affluent family. However, they brought up their son without any kind of Islamic education. Renda completed his high school and joined a university. He had no idea about Islam until he started mixing with overseas Muslim students at his campus. American universities offer a great deal of freedom of choice and do not interfere with such personal choices. Since Renda had a very gentle nature, the Islamic teachings and practices attracted him. He was surprised to discover that he was born in a Muslim family, but family circumstances kept him far away from the knowledge and practice of Islam. Renda learned more and more about Islam every day and tried to put it into practice. Renda was very smart in his studies. He proceeded to architectural engineering and finished the coursework very easily. He joined an American architectural firm when he was preparing for his professional license examination. It usually takes a few years to pass the license examination after a few attempts. Renda was so smart that he passed the licensing exam only in one go. Renda was also very smart in Islamic knowledge and practice. He benefited a great deal from the Islamic activities of Ann Arbor Masjid and Muslim community there. His parents had retired and chose to go back to Turkey. They settled down in their native country for the rest of their life. Renda chose to stay in America since he liked the Ann Arbor Muslim community. He wanted to take more and more part in Islamic activities. I used to give Friday sermon or Jummah khutbah once a month in Ann Arbor Masjid in Michigan. He was usually muazzin for this large mosque. I recall that in one Jummah khutbah I described the story of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. In this story I mentioned that the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam try to use his shirt to prove that he had been eaten by a wild animal. Later, when the wife of Aziz tried to have an affair with him, his shirt served as a proof that wife of Aziz was guilty and Yusuf alayhi was innocent. Much later, the shirt of Yusuf alayhi was used to regain the eyesight of his grieved father. I added that if Yusuf alayhi's shirt could perform such miracles, how unique that person would be who wore it. Renda liked these remarks and called me on phone as soon as I reached home. He rather asked me, "Are these your ideas?" I told him, "Not at all. Anything I say is from tafsir, explanation and interpretations of Quran written by Islamic scholars. I'm not a scholar, and I do not have the right to give explanations of Quran from myself." Renda dressed in Islamic Turkish dress all the time, even during the job. I asked him, "Does your employer object to your dress since you have to represent the firm in many places?" Renda said, "They have to accept me the way I am if they want me." I repeated, "Don't you experience some prejudice at your job because of Islamic dress?" Renda bluntly said, "That's their problem." I then asked him, "Would you please show me how to tie up this Turkish turban? It looks so graceful." Renda made outstanding contribution to various Islamic communities. He used to present Islam to the inmates of American prisons. This requires a great deal of time and patience. Renda's experience with prisoners was very positive. Renda felt that these new Muslims in prisons needed a special form of brief but comprehensive literature. He developed such pamphlets on his own and at his own expense. He wanted me to review these pamphlets before printing. I found these very pertinent for the use of new Muslims. Allah knows how many prisoners embraced Islam through his teaching, and how many prisoners Iman became more strong through his teachings. Renda's contribution to Farmington Hill Masjid is also unique. This masjid has 2.5-acre land. Bids were taken from various firms for architectural drawings. Renda's company gave a high bid. Renda's advice was to pick the lower bid of another firm. Renda, however, did the detailed drawing of the masjid to help this hired firm. We both had very lengthy and tiresome meetings with the architectural firm. Renda never complained about it. Without Renda's professional help, I would have spent thousands of dollars more in building this masjid. Renda's personal life was very unique too. He went to Turkey to get married. He did not ask his parents to find him a girl from a rich family. Renda told me that he picked a girl from an average family on his own. He knew that his wife did not know anything about Islam, but he was confident and determined to teach her Islam. Renda felt that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and all other prophets were ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to start preaching and teaching among their near and dear ones first. Renda not only taught her Islam but served as an outstanding model for her. With the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she acquired Islamic knowledge very fast. Both cherished this Islamic way of life. Allah blessed them with 2 daughters. Renda did not want to stop here. He wanted more and more participation in Islamic activities, while his beloved wife cooperated with him fully. That was the time when the war in Bosnia was in full swing. Muslims were being killed and tortured every day. Muslim youth from many countries went there to help the Bosnian Muslims. Renda could not resist and made up his mind to go there as well. He left his wife and young children in Ann Arbor City and appointed a wali or guardian for them from among the Turkish Muslim students. He called me to say salam and to make me aware of his family arrangement. Renda was a very cool minded, confident person and was very firm in carrying out his decision. He especially wanted to help the orphan children of Bosnia. After a while, we heard that Allah made him a shaheed, martyr in Bosnia. He was buried in Bosnia. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The Ann Arbor Muslim community was very proud of Renda and his family. They immediately established a trust and collected about $60,000 for the education of Renda's children when they reach college level. Renda's wife was very noble too. She is growing more and more Islamically by understanding and memorizing more and more of Quran and Hadith. Renda's children are very intelligent like him. His wife is raising them with remarkable Islamic background. Renda's parents in Turkey are also proud to be parents of a shaheed. Similarly, Muslims of Tawheed Masjid in Farmington Hill are thankful to Allah for the design of their masjid by this shaheed. May Allah grant him lofty bliss in paradise. Ameen.